Guys, it's the next day. It's November 10th. We have about 6 more days left. The last install is the oil pan itself. We already got it out. This is the setup just to lift the engine up in order to slide out the oil pan. And hopefully the new oil pan is much easier to install, but so far it has been a pain in the ass. If you look down here, that is under the block. I have already cleaned it and we're about 50% of the way there. What I'm hoping for is to make this install much easier is that we'll be converting the bolts into studs for the oil pan. But just with the limited space we have, I might need to drop the subframe in order to get the new pickup tube in, get the new studs in, and be able to snake in the new oil pan from there. So that's going to be the goal. So these are the two oil pans side by side. This is the OEM and this is the Nikon Rotary one. Now, one concern I'm having and thinking about doing is, as you can see here, this is the RX8 oil level sensor. It's inside the oil pan. And as you saw, it's a bitch to remove and replace this. Now, I'm thinking the reason why Mazda had it to where you could externally remove it from the side is because of that reason. It's really not easy to pull this out from the subframe as opposed to the RX-8 where we could just slide it out easily since the subframe is much more open than the FD. So what I'm debating right now is that A, I just run the RX-8 oil lever sensor and put a new O-ring and pray to the rotary guards it does not leak, or B, I weld that sucker in and just not run an oil lever sensor at all. So off camera, I'm gonna just think about it and think what's best to do.
20 minutes later.
So we decided to go with the RX-8 oil level sensor because we know the rotary guards have our backs. So here's the RX-8 pickup tube mounted to the FD block. And as you can see, all the studs are now in. And we can finally put the FD pan in. This is the space I'm dealing with right here. So that's the subframe. And that's how much space I have. But the technique is, you see this middle section right here? You snake in the new FD pan into there.
The next day.
Alright guys, it's already November 11th, 5 p.m. I just got off of work. So we're continuing the work from what we did yesterday. I have already installed the oil pan, didn't torque it down, that's what we'll be doing today, and pretty much finishing up the car, getting it down on its own wheels, and hopefully we can start it without any leaks. Now, I didn't do any time lapse on installing the oil pan itself. I actually already done this installation on my RX-8 REW swap back in the day. So I'll leave a link in the description below or somewhere like a thumbnail on the video here. But you can click that and see how to install this. Now I know time is not on our side, but I'll make sure that this car is back down. Things like these you cannot rush, and this was the outcome. But thankfully, I have friends in the Rotary world that can help me out. So the idea here is, thanks to Christian Weiss, currently he has gone through his own battles with rotary engines and eventually swapped his RX-7 with a Honda motor. And right now it's running beautifully. But thanks to him and his experience, he told me that what he did was to get extra spacers to space out the polyurethane bushings, and that was enough to lift up the engine enough to clear the subframe. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. This is something that was unexpected and things happen. We literally only have 4 more days left and I'm hoping we can make it. If the washer trick does not work, the last resort is to cut the subframe, which I kind of don't want to, but hey.